SOJA's journey began on a dusty road in Limpopo village, where the fading light of day cast a golden glow on his worn red shirt. The image of his older self, still in the same shirt, surrounded by village children, haunted his thoughts. He couldn't bear the idea of such a future. With determination burning in his eyes, SOJA made the decision to leave for the city, seeking a better life beyond the familiar fields and dirt paths. As SOJA embarked on his journey to the city, his optimism clashed with the harsh reality of his appearance. Rejected by a passing truck driver, he trudged to the motor park with his last coins, clinging to the hope of prosperity whispered by those who had left before him. Stranded and alone in the bustling city, SOJA's fortune changed when a homeless man, Themba, shared the unwritten rules of survival in the urban jungle. Together, they scavenged for food, rummaging through trash cans and dodging police patrols. "Stay alert, my friend," Themba warned. "The city doesn't forgive the weak." But when the police raided their spot, arresting homeless people for sleeping on the streets, SOJA knew he had to leave. Themba refused to come with him, accustomed to the harsh life. "I'll go into hiding," Themba said. "But I'll come back when the storm is come." SOJA bid farewell to his friend and continued his search for a better life. His determination led him to a Nigerian man, Emma, who owned a small restaurant in the city. "Hello, my brother," Emma boomed, his thick accent warm and inviting. "What brings you to this side of town?" SOJA explained his situation, and Emma offered him a job. "You can work here, and I'll give you a place to stay. But you must promise me one thing, you must never give up." SOJA gratefully accepted. He worked hard, learning the ins and outs of the restaurant. Emma became like a mentor to him. But SOJA's life took a dramatic turn when he met Akua, Emma's daughter. She was beautiful, elegant, and out of his league. SOJA smiled, but Akua's expression turned icy. "What's wrong with you? Can't you see I'm busy?" Akua snapped, her voice cold. SOJA apologized and quickly looked away, not wanting to jeopardize his job. Days turned into weeks, and SOJA's hard work paid off. He earned his first paycheck and rented a modest room with only a mat. He lay on the mat, his heart swelling with pride. This was his first accomplishment, a step towards a better life. As SOJA continued to work, he and Akua kept running into each other. The bumps were unavoidable. They began to talk, but Akua's initial disdain for sure still lingered. She couldn't understand why he always smiled at her even with anger from her side. She noticed one thing, his dressing had changed, from the faded and sometimes torn clothes he used to wear to work to better ones. A year had passed since SOJA left Emma's restaurant, and so much had changed. Once a shy and tired young man, SOJA had grown into a confident and strong person. Now he was a taxi driver, zooming around the busy streets of the city. He made more money and enjoyed the freedom that came with his job. SOJA's old, worn red shirt was replaced by a neat uniform, and he kept his hair tidy. Every day behind the wheel made him feel proud and excited about life. One sunny day, while attending a charity event for a local organization, SOJA saw someone who made his heart race. It was Akua. She looked beautiful in a lovely dress that flowed around her. Her hair was styled perfectly, shining in the sunlight, and she sparkled like a star. But it was the surprise on her face when she saw him that really caught his attention. "Akua?" SOJA asked, his voice shaking with disbelief. Could it really be her? Her eyes widened, and she stepped back, amazed. "SOJA, is that really you?" SOJA smiled widely, feeling a rush of happiness. "Yes, it's me. I've changed a bit, haven't I?" Akua looked him up and down, her eyes shining with surprise. "You look different. Confident." SOJA chuckled. "I've been working hard. Now I'm a taxi driver. It pays better than washing dishes." Akua's face softened, and her eyes sparkled with kindness. "I'm so glad to see you doing well, SOJA." As they talked, time seemed to fly by. SOJA and Akua found themselves lost in conversation, sharing stories about their lives, dreams, and what they wanted for the future. SOJA was amazed by Akua's adventures, and Akua admired SOJA's hard work and growth. "I never thought I'd see you again," Akua said softly, almost a whisper. "But I'm really glad I did." SOJA's heart raced. "I'm glad too, Akua. I've thought about you a lot." Akua looked down, a little shy, but there was a small smile on her lips. The bond between them felt strong, as if they were connected by an invisible thread. As the charity event ended, SOJA walked Akua to her car. They stood outside in the beautiful evening light, not wanting to say goodbye. "I'd like to see you again," SOJA said, his voice full of hope. "Maybe we could get coffee or dinner sometime." Akua looked up at him, searching his eyes for sincerity. "I'd like that," she replied, her smile brightening. SOJA felt his heart leap. He couldn't believe his luck. As they exchanged phone numbers, excitement bubbled inside him. He knew this was the start of something special. In the following weeks, SOJA and Akua met many times. They shared laughs over steaming cups of coffee, explored fun places in the city, and talked for hours about everything. SOJA felt smitten, and Akua found herself falling for him, too. One evening, as they sat on a hill overlooking the sparkling city lights, Akua turned to SOJA and said, "I'm so glad I gave you a second chance." As they watched the sun set, painting the sky with colors of orange and pink, SOJA realized he had found his soulmate. His heart was full, overflowing with joy for this amazing moment. While they talked, SOJA learned more about Akua's past. She revealed that she was adopted by Emma and his late wife, Abina, who was from Ghana. Akua's birth name was Nola, a South African name given to her by her biological mother, who loved her deeply. Sadly, her mother had to give her up when she was just a baby, hoping for a better life for her. "I never knew my real mother," Akua said, her voice filled with sadness. "But Abina was wonderful. She gave me a great life. She taught me about our culture, shared stories of our homeland, and filled our home with love. I miss her so much." SOJA felt a pang of sadness for her. He understood what it meant to lose someone important. "I'm really sorry, Akua. I know how it feels to lose someone you love." Akua nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "Abina was my world. She showed me how to be strong, just like my mother wanted. I carry her love with me everywhere." SOJA reached out and gently squeezed her hand, comforting her. "You are strong, Akua. You have made your own life and filled it with hope." Akua's eyes met SOJA's, and for a moment, they just stared at each other. The connection between them felt magical, as if they could share everything without saying a word. As the sun dipped below the horizon, glowing in shades of gold, SOJA knew that this was just the beginning of a wonderful journey together. With Akua by his side, he felt ready to face anything that came their way. Their hearts felt like two pieces of a puzzle, fitting perfectly together, creating a beautiful story of love, strength, and hope. That night, Afua called her dad and said, "Papa, I'll be coming over, with someone I'm seeing." Emma smiled, pleased that his daughter had taken an interest in dating. "Come home with him then." As they arrived at Emma's house, Akua took a deep breath, preparing for the conversation. SOJA noticed her nervousness and squeezed her hand reassuringly. When Emma opened the door, his eyes widened in surprise. "SOJA, I haven't seen you since you left my restaurant. And with my daughter, no less." SOJA smiled, locking eyes with Emma. "Mr. Emma, I can explain." But Emma cut him off. Come in. We need to talk." Once inside, Akua sat next to SOJA, their hands entwined. Emma's eyes were fixed on them. "SOJA, I had no idea you were seeing my daughter. I thought you were just a dishwasher at my restaurant. I was, sir, SOJA replied, never breaking eye contact. But I've changed a lot since then, and I care deeply for Akua. Emma softened and turned to Akua. What do you want to know about your biological mother? Akua took a deep breath. I want to know what happened to her and where I lived before I was adopted. Emma nodded slowly. I've always wanted to protect you from the past, but I understand your curiosity. Let me make some calls. As Emma left the room, SOJA whispered to Akua, I'm here for you, no matter what. After a tense moment, Emma returned, his expression somber. I found the orphanage where you lived before you were adopted, and I also found out what happened to your mother. Akua's heart raced. What happened? Your biological mother died during childbirth. She had complications and didn't survive. Akua nodded, tears welling in her eyes. SOJA pulled her into a tight embrace. As they left Emma's house, Akua whispered, thank you for being here with me. As they left Emma's house, Akua took a deep breath, relieved to have faced the truth about her past. SOJA squeezed her hand reassuringly, and together they walked home. Kids, this is my journey through life, a summary of how and why we are a family today. An older-looking SOJA said as he looked at his kids. Amanda's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Daddy, what happened to your homeless friend from the hood? Emma laughed softly, a hint of sadness in his voice. I wish I knew too. I went back to look for him, but there was no news about him. The people you encounter on your journey to success may not always be there when you achieve it.